Hi, everybody. I'm hoping that you can hear me. Hey, it looks like I'm up and live on the Spiritual Events Directory. So welcome. Absolutely fantastic to be here again, midday on Thursday, and just absolutely fantastic. So there'll be lots of things to share today. So just remember, you can type a message, in the messages below. And please remember, I'm not using any psychic ability today. I might be using some intuition. So this is all about being very practical and you asking questions around life mastery, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or whatever else comes up for you. So I'm just going to do a bit of a test on the write a comment. There we go. A nice hi. So if anybody would like to just write a comment there in the comments, so I know that you are watching and listening, that will be absolutely fantastic. Hey, there we go. Hey, Samantha, can you tell me the man I love will come back to me? So, Samantha, just as I was sharing just now, I'm not doing anything here that is from a psychic perspective, but what I will do, I'll give you some practical knowledge and advice here a little bit. Can you tell me the man I love will come back to me? Look, Samantha, I always say in relationship, the most clear thing you can do is have conscious communication. So if you're wanting to be with this man, if you want this man back in your life, what can you do in terms of your conscious communication with him? Are you communicating? What is the communication level? Are you actually meeting to talk? I always say, if you're texting in relationship, it's probably not the best thing to do. Phone calls are okay, but there's nothing like a personal one-on-one meeting. And sometimes with the relationships, you have to have those mediated as well. I do a lot of mediation work and work in that space with couples, and some, either live or sometimes on Zoom, where we all chat together. He won't talk to me. Well, therein stems the problem, Samantha, because he's not talking to you. How are you going to get to that space of having a conversation about getting back together? So that is the challenge. So the challenge will be to, find out how you can get a conversation with him. And it might be that he'd be happy to have somebody else there in a mediation space. So without knowing too much more about the situation, I probably can't share any more than that, apart from say, try and get that communication happening. Okay. So thank you, Samantha. And can you sense anyone on the other side from me? So Grace, just as I'm sharing before, I'm not doing any psychic abilities up there, I'm not doing any mediumship. I'm very much doing things from a practical perspective of life mastery. How can we bring more life mastery into our lives? How can we be practical and bring things in by doing things for ourselves? So, I'm not doing any messages. The messages I will say for everybody is just take a moment and ask yourself, what message would you like to receive? What message would you like to receive and whom from? Because we can all tune in. We can all tune in to get those messages on some level. And oftentimes it's about just dropping into a meditation space. And what I'm going to do and share today is a little bit about meditation. I want to share something about meditation, because meditation for me is one of the keys about spiritual work. And if we can get more into the meditative space, we can actually open ourselves up to listening to these messages. Okay, Grace, okay. My brother stole Lily. Okay, I'm just reading in here from Grace. Okay, so I'm going to ask, there's a question here that I can speak a little bit of. Marina, she's asking, life after death. Can you tell me about it? Look, absolutely, yeah. Obviously, can't remember much about it from my perspective because I haven't passed away from this life. But my belief system is, and this is my own personal belief system from my study of spiritual work over the last 25 years, that when we pass over the threshold, we go into the spiritual world. Yeah, the essence of our being, the core aspect of our being, the spirit aspect of our being goes back to a place that's in the spiritual realm. And that is my personal belief system from what I've studied and what I know from my meditative practice, that we actually go into a spirit space, and in that space we reside, and we take the experiences from this life and we relive them. Some people call it purgatory, other people call it, the Karma Loka. There's a lot of different place names for it, where we go through the process of remembering what we've had in this life experience. We relive that to some degree. We go into the spirit realm, then we prepare to come back and have a reincarnation on this planet. So for me, it's a backward and forward experience continually, new souls, old souls, and it's about what are we going to bring back. So I do believe we go to a spiritual perspective, and we certainly can connect to people in that spiritual realm through a meditative practices if we practice. So thank you. And back to Grace. He's refusing to contact, blocking my phone calls. Look, if he's blocking and not contacting with you, Grace, it's going to be a really, really difficult situation. It might be that you write him a letter. If he's blocking and you really want to have a conversation, you might have to write a letter or ask somebody else to give him a message, I would say. So, Annette, any messages for me? As I'm sharing with everybody, I'm not doing any psychic work here. This is a bit different than the psychic shows. I work with life mastery, and in that life mastery process, I support people to ask questions about their life. Where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in my vocation, in my relationship. And I'll try to answer some questions about where you are right now from more of a practical perspective of helping you to break through and bring things into your life so you have much more life mastery in your life. So this is all about empowering you to be more in your life. Yeah. So messages for you would be, do you have a message for yourself in terms of your own personal, spiritual, emotional growth that you would like me to answer? Yep. A crazy end of life doula here. I agree with you. Yeah. It's moving on from this life, going back into the spiritual world, then preparing for the next incarnation. There's a lot of conjecture over how long that takes. Some people say they come back pretty quick, within a matter of years. I know people who've told me that they were in the First or Second World War and then they're back again after dying in there. And other people, for me, it's a longer spell. It's 1,000, 2,000 years even for some people. So it's very different, I believe, for everybody. So, Janet, where am I right now in my life? Great question, Janet. And I'd say, ask yourself that question. Where am I right now in my life? But get specific. Get specific. Where am I in my life right now? In what aspect? Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual? And then ask yourself your question, where are you right now? Are things going well for you? And if not, what can you change? So ask the question, where am I right now in my life, say physically? Well, I'm not in a great space right now. Well, what can you do? Can you do more exercise? Can you change your diet? So what I say to people is, get into the question, where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in vocation, in relationship, creatively, sexually, intimately, with my family, with my friends. And if you really want to do a strong process, what process you can do is set your clock, get your phone, go to your alarm, set it on the hour every hour from say 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Set the alarm so it goes off. And when it goes off, ask yourself that question. Where am I right now in my life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? And if you're not in alignment, in that moment, you can choose to bring yourself into alignment as much as you can. I share this every week when I'm on here because it's a really important resource. It's a really important tool. And when you ask yourself that question, and if you say you've just had a conversation with somebody and you're out of alignment, in that moment, you can come back into alignment again. So for 12 times a day or 14 times a day, however often you choose to set your alarm, for a few minutes, you can be absolutely in alignment with yourself by asking yourself that question. And then you can practice it more and more and more each day to bring yourself into what I call at least the 80-20 principle, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, where 80% is really fantastic. And then 20% is a work in process. So that's all I'd suggest for that one. So any more questions out there? I'm doing well on the right path, but I can't seem to communicate with my children without them putting me down as the people in my past have done. So it sounds like there's a bit of a boundary issue for me, Grace, coming up there. Like, how are you in your boundaries? How are you in actually speaking consciously to people and actually not taking on other people's stuff as if you're being treated in a not very well fashion? Because a lot of that's about boundary and speaking up and saying, I don't deserve to be spoken to like this. I don't deserve to be treated like this. So it sounds like there could be some boundary work to be had there. And boundaries are really, 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 really important. Really important. I've got 6 children of my own from a blended family, and I certainly have clear boundaries with my children. I don't deserve to be spoken to like that. I don't deserve that behavior. If you have an issue, don't take it out on me. So really clear boundaries, particularly around our children, because they can push our buttons. Tina, Mason, anything for me? Tina, same thing, is ask yourself the question, where am I right now? What's your practical question? I'm not doing any psychic work today. So I'm asking the questions from a practical perspective about what you want to bring into your life from a life mastery perspective. Yep, it's a big Grace. If I don't take them on, I may lose them. Trying boundaries, absolutely true. But it's really important, because when we have boundaries around with children, we're teaching them boundaries. And yet there's a risk of losing them. Not all our children connect with us all the time. Sometimes we lose them for a while. Sometimes. But I call it tough love. I call it the loving brick wall. Because what am I teaching my children if I'm not strong in my boundaries? I'm not strong in my love. So yeah, we can placate our children, we can give them what they want and not stand up, and we can be the doormat and get walked all over. But what are we teaching our children about self-love? So I like to teach my children from example. I know it's really tough. Have a little bit of a think about that one. Really think about that one. Tina, past loved ones? Yeah, look, connecting into past loved ones, I do it all the time with people that have passed on. I connect with them in my own way. And for me, it's about, what question do you have? Because oftentimes when we're asking questions, we can go inside and ask ourselves, so why am I asking the question in the first place? Then I go down the rabbit hole a little bit deeper to ask myself why I'm asking the question. Yep. Not sure the format here, but from practical, being quite unwell for 6 weeks, knowing it's release work, but it's physical. Yeah, okay, yeah. Who's that? Catrice? Yeah, so the practical thing is about asking yourself, so if you've been unwell for 6 weeks, what's going on for you? Are you seeking some advice? Are you seeking some support? Have you been to somebody who can look at you, a naturopath, a healer? And have you gone to a therapist? Have you called Adrian and had your 30-minute free session? Because what I'm saying to everybody here, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and go and book yourself in for a free 30-minute session with me. If there's not a space on there when you click it, PM me and I'll certainly call you back, and I will book you in for a free 30-minute consultation to find out where you are right now in your life, and we will see about helping you and supporting you to move forward. So we can certainly do that. But if it's health and well-being, then check out the health and well-being for yourself and get some support. Have a conversation with myself, and we'll look about getting yourself back on track with your diet, with your exercise, with some holistic medication, holistic support. So that's what I'll be saying there. Yeah, so the messages are really popping up really super fast here. Absolutely fantastic. So once again, Tina and others are asking the question. I'm not doing any psychic work on here today. I'm steering clear of the psychic work today, and I'm just doing the practical work about bringing more life mastery into your life to help you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, with your vocation, with your creativity, with your family and friends, to help you empower yourself to bring that life mastery in, bringing some resources into your life. Yeah, okay, so they're the questions I'm going to ask, with no disrespect, but if you're asking me a question to ask a question from the other side or from my psychic abilities, I'm not doing that today here. Yeah, it is tough love, Grace, absolutely loving brick wall work, and it's really, really tough. It's really tough because it's we feel like we're being tough on our children. It's the last thing we want to do, but you know what? We teach them by example. Thank you. No, Tina, don't be sorry. It's okay. You didn't know. I'm just explaining that to you now. So maybe ask, yeah, what about my work? Great question for you, Tina. My first question in vocational work or looking at jobs is, what do you want to do? Have you written your vision? Are you really clear on what it is you want to do in terms of your work? Are you really clear about it? And if you are, how do you get from where you are right now into that vision? Well, that usually is about taking on a coach. I work with a lot of people about bringing in new work, new visions, new projects in their life. So we start with a vision. What do you actually want to do? And sometimes that takes a bit of work to get to the vision. But once we have the vision, we can take the steps to work towards it. I get a lot of people who want to be coaches. They want to do what I do. So we have to work with them. I'm not saying, pack your job in tomorrow and then start, although for some people that's okay. But how do you start the process to move from one place to another and start your work and create that space for yourself so you're feeling really, really happy about what you do every single day? So I hope that helps. Bobby, I'd love some spiritual guidance, please. Bobby, can you be more specific, please? Because spiritual guidance is such a wide field. Is it in meditation? I'm actually going to do a meditation process in a few minutes, and I'm going to get you all to jump in with me and do a meditation. And I'm going to give you some guidance on meditation. But if there's something specific in spiritual guidance, then please, Bobby, just comment on that. So, yeah, Grace, yeah, it hurts, but you've got to be done. Absolutely, it's got to be done. So, yeah, spiritual guidance, Bobby, happy to answer that. And then in a moment, I will be opening up and doing a short 5-minute meditation for you and giving you some meditation guidance, particularly for those people of you who struggle with meditation or have not meditated before. So any other questions coming in? I'm a bit of a rut going forward. Okay, so you're in a bit of a rut going forward, Bobby. That's pretty normal for all of us. I say we go in the rut, we have to learn to step out of it. We fall back in the rut, we have to learn to step out of it. So the first thing I'd say, Bobby, for you and anybody else that's listening and watching in, is name the rut. I get really clear on it, get really specific. Because when we name something, we can deal with it. Yeah, my father's recently passed, I'm just lost. Okay, look, if you're in grief, which it sounds like you are, and you're feeling lost, it's about looking at the grief. How can you move through the grief? How can you work with the grief? Are you getting support in that? What are you doing to connect to your father? So that's it, isn't it? And I'm really sorry to hear that your father's passed. And if you're feeling lost, how can you find that reconnection? Obviously, you can reconnect with your father by tuning in and checking in and having conversations. But if you're feeling lost in yourself, asking yourself the question, in what area of my life am I lost? Is it lost because my father's gone, or is there some other aspect? So naming it first, then I'd suggest, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, or PM me with your phone number, and I'll get back to you and we'll book you in for a 30-minute free consultation to ascertain where you're at right now to see if I can actually support you in that process, because that's what this is all about as well. Patricia, I want to become a well-being mentor for young children. What a great, absolute thing to do. So, Patricia, the journey would be then, how do you start the process? Do you need qualifications? Do you need to get connections? What is you need? So for me, it's about being practical and getting a vision together, doing a vision plan, and then doing your business plan. And I do them all the time with people. Very happy to support you in that. So vision, get clear on it, and then write your process plan and then your business plan for it if you need one as well. So, yeah, morning, Beverly. Hi. Yeah, Bobby, please message me. Send me your phone number. I'll give you a call and we'll book you in for a 30-minute free consultation, which anybody else is welcome to do too, by the way. You can also go to adrianhanks.com and you'll see there's a booking page there. There's a couple of spaces left in there, and then I'll put some more spaces up there when I've finished this program. So, all good. Beverly had a very weirdest energy around all night last night. I woke up many times. Yeah, so look, people talk about energy all the time, and a lot of people are in that empath world. They say that the energy comes and they feel weird about it. I have something really clear for myself. If I'm open to receiving an energy, I open up to it. If I'm not, I don't let it in. I spoke about this last week and the week before. If you don't want an energy to come in, don't let it in. Like, choose the boundary, find your spiritual boundary, learn about your boundaries. Because energies are only there, and we feel the energies if we let ourselves be felt by them. Only choose what you want to have around you. If you feel a negative energy come towards you, get that boundary up and don't let it near you, like really clearly. We can learn that. It takes some time to learn, but we can learn it. And I work with energy fields all the time, and I only let them in if I want them in. My saying is, if it's not invited, it's not allowed in, whether that's in my home, in my environment, in my body, in my mind, or in my spirit. So get clear about your boundaries, everybody, if you're doing spiritual work. Don't just be open to everything. That's dangerous. Be discerning. If it's not invited, it's not allowed in. And if it's a bit weird, engage with the weirdness or cut it off and don't get engaged. That'd be my advice. Had to come to New Zealand for brain surgery. You want to get back towards it. You just don't know how living on donations. Okay, maybe think about some crowdfunding, Lisa. I don't know if you've thought about crowdfunding. Get some friends to start it for you, do it yourself. If you're going through a bit of a healing space right now and you have friends and community around you, crowdfunding is a great way to support you for a while. It's one option. Absolutely is. My daughter's currently she's in a ballet company. She doesn't get any government subsidies and she wants to make it on herself. And she started a crowdfunding to support her in a dance world. Crowdfunding is a great way to do it. I don't see it as a charity. I don't see it as a donation. I see it as community support. Very empowering. It's not a negative. It's not a put down. It's just, hey, come and support me in this community. And if we all support each other, what a great thing to do. So maybe check that one out. My hubby and grandson have just been retrenched. What will happen to our future? Well, Lynette, it'll depend on what you plan. I'm not doing the psychic tuning in today, but whatever you plan, get a plan for yourself, get a vision, get a life plan together. Start visioning what do you actually want, and then make steps towards your future through that vision. Yep. So create your vision. What do you actually want? Because retrenchment sometimes can be a blessing, because it means you can actually bring in things in your life now, what you truly want. So, create a vision. Happy to help you with that. So, free 30-minute consultations for anybody that wants them. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and book in, or PM me your phone number, and I will call you. PM Adrian Hanks on Facebook. Beverly, love it. So vibration is love from those no longer with us, isn't it? Yes, it can be. A vibration, there's many forms of vibration, Grace. Son-in-law. Sorry to hear about that. Absolutely sorry to hear about that. Yeah, and feeling him and tune into him and talk to him and connect with him. Send him your love. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So what I'm going to do, just if you want to hang off your questions for a little while and just take a moment just to tune in, let's do a 5 or 10 minute meditation together. So obviously if you're driving a car and you're watching, you won't be able to. But if you have the space now to stop everything you're doing, and I'd suggest one of the things you do is just have Adrian on the screen. So don't be jumping around on other Facebooks, don't be typing. Turn off your radio, turn off your phone just for 5 or 10 minutes so that you have 100% connection with Adrian. Yep. So no other Facebook pages open, no other browsers open, turn them off. Because the more you're focused, the better you will be with this meditation. Yep, so that's that's what I'd like you to do. Just have Adrian with you right now, have me with you. No other distractions. And the first thing in meditation is your position, is your posture, how you're sitting. And I often say, if you're new to meditation, or even if you're meditating, you want to take it to another level, come to the edge of your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs or by your side or in front of you. Closing your eyes if you choose to, or a nice soft focus in front of you. And just being aware of my voice. Being aware of your posture for a moment. Straight back if you can. And then become aware of your breathing. Focusing on the breath. In breath. And out breath. And if you're feeling some tension there, a great way to drop the tension is to do a big sigh. Oh, just letting go. And again. Oh, you'll feel the tension release as you sigh. And back to the breath. In breath and out. Nice, long, slow, gentle breaths. Following the breath with your mind, in and out, up and down. Full attention on the breath. Letting any thoughts float in and float out of your mind, and just coming back to the breath, each breath. Right down into the belly. Into the belly. That's good. Nice and gentle. Just breathing. Nothing to do, there's nowhere to go. Nice breath. Take 2 or 3 nice, long, deep in-breaths, and then open your eyes and back to the screen with Adrian. So how was that for you? Maybe a couple of comments on how you're feeling now after that. And that was just a few minutes. I'll say if you're new to meditation, or if you've been out of meditation for practice, just 3 or 4 or 5 minutes just to get yourself back into it. Don't make it complicated. Don't have to be cross-legged at 4 o'clock in the morning and sitting with your incense, and you just sit down, be quiet, meditate on the breath. It's a really great way to do your meditation. There's hundreds of different meditations, and I say to people, find the time of day that suits you, the time that suits you, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Yeah. And find the space for yourself. And just make it a practice. If you have to, put it in your diary, set your phone once or twice a day just to drop back into meditation. That's a really basic meditation. Yeah, really basic one. But it's a great way to start. And there's a lot more meditations. There's body relaxation meditations. There's chakra meditations. I love my chakra meditations. Just choose one chakra and come into the focus, or you can do the whole 7 and bring them into alignment. You can do music meditation. In fact, I play it in a moment. I play the didgeridoo, and it's a beautiful thing to meditate to. Beautiful thing. So in a few moments, I'll get the didge, and we'll do a 2-minute meditation just while you're listening to the didgeridoo. It's walking meditation. One of my favorite meditations is silent meditation. Not even focusing on the breath, but focusing on, I do it on the 3rd eye here, and I go into absolute crystal silence. I call it crystal silence. And I drop into the silence. I'm not talking so much about physical silence, but spiritual silence. Taking ourselves into the spiritual space and dropping into spiritual silence. It's the loudest place I've ever been. There's a real dichotomy around trying to find silence. Because silence is powerfully loud when we drop into spiritual silence. And there's a power in it. Very, very powerful. We can drop into meditations that are guided meditations. A bit like I did. That was a bit of a guided meditation, but we can take people on a journey. So there's many, many, many forms of meditation. So find your own. But I suggest, drop in and get back into your meditation practice, or start it. Yeah, craft meditation. I do a lot of clay work. I love clay meditation. Absolutely love it. Love walking meditation. Yeah, Lisa, namaste. Yeah, please, if you want a 30-minute session, Lisa, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, or drop me a private message, and I will get back to you if you put your phone number in there. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a didge. I've got several didgeridoos, but I'm going to use my little bamboo didge here. I'm just going to sit away from the screen a little bit and play the didge. So you may want to just do the same again. You may want to close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a moment. When you hear the sound of the didge, just let the sound of the didge just wash through you, wash over you, and tune in and connect in. Just staying with the resonance and the vibration of that just for a moment. Just for a moment. Staying with the resonance, feeling the vibration, feeling the sound of it. That's good. So I hope that was enjoyable. A little bit of didge. So you've had a couple of meditation opportunities here. So just coming back to the show. If you have any questions on all things life mastery, please do ask away. And so this is about you having that empowerment process happening in your life to bring yourself more into empowerment, bringing more life mastery into your life physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, vocationally, in relationships, sexually, intimately, creatively, all those different aspects that we have. And I work with those 10 aspects. And once again, if you go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and go to the store, you can actually download a free journal. Yeah, there's a free journal there for you, if you want to download it, that you can work with every single day. If you want to print it off, take it to the printers, get it bound, you can do that as well. You can just print off one sheet at a time. And it's a great resource for you to ascertain where you are every single day. Where am I right now? And then we can start towards building ourselves up in our life. You know, if you're living a life currently of a 70-30 principle or a 60-40, how about aiming for that 80-20 principle? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And then if you're already living 80-20, what about pushing it to 85-15 or go to the 90-10 principle? Keep challenging yourself to grow every single day. physically, emotionally, mentally, and of course, spiritual. All that different growth every single day. Very empowering thing to do. There's lots and lots of ways to build yourself up every single day, and focusing on something every single day. Particularly if there's something not going so well for you, how do I focus on that to bring myself up into a better life? Even people talk about finances. How do you bring yourself up financially? What are you doing to bring your financial life up? Yep. Yeah, great. Love to get to the 90-10. So I'd suggest, go to my website, get that free journal. You can buy the journal from the shop, and I'll post it at you, but there is a free one there too, a free resource if you don't want to buy the ready-made one. And then find out where you are right now, Grace. That's the important part. Are you in all those 10 aspects? And some of them you might be a bit higher than the other. Give yourself the percentage. Like physically, you might be 70-30, but emotionally, you might be 80-20. Spiritually, you might be 95-5. Financially, you might be 50-50, or you might be 90-10. But ascertain where you are on them, but then find the balance to bring yourself back up to where you want to be in all of them, and then you have to work on every single day. I've been working on my own finance for the last couple of months. I've actually got I made money while I was sleeping. I've made some smart moves by getting a coach in financial education, and have something going from there. You'll find that on my website too. The work I am doing out there in the financial realm with Skyway. I also have my spiritual teachers. I also have my physical teachers. In November, I decided I wanted to get into a better body shape, and I got a coach, and I've lost 16 kilos in the last 4 months. And I'm running, and I'm exercising, and I'm really cautious of my diet. So physically, I'm actually really good. I sort of hit that sort of 94-6 principle in my physical, and mentally and spiritually, I'm pretty high as well because I do the work. Some things I'm a bit lower, and they're the things I tend to focus on right now. I'm aiming to be getting that millionaire mindset, so I have to get a millionaire coach, which I've just done, and I'm already earning money in my portfolio. So it's about putting things into place to get us to where we want to be. Still getting rid of old habits and creating new ones. Yeah, that's what it's all about, Grace, isn't it? It's about getting new habits in, getting that subconscious mind, old paradigm changed into the new story. Because sadly, we all carry old story, and it's what keeps us stuck more than anything else. Old habits, old stories, old addictions. So for me, it's about writing the vision. Let's get clear. Let's write the vision, get clear on where we want to go. Who am I going to be in the future? Who do I want to be? And how am I going to get there? Yeah, break it down, break it down, break it down. Clear vision. What are the steps to take to get there? And in what aspects or areas of my life do I need to change? And that's when we have resources like the journal and like the setting the clock on the hour every hour. When we bring those resources into our life and work with them, it's a little bit easier to work with. When it's just arbitrary and all over the place, like a big bowl of spaghetti, it's really tough to get any work done, any personal spiritual development. So I'm all about getting clear. Get clear on the focus. Let's set the sat nav. Where do I want to go? Clear, get the vision. Get your vision board. Write your vision. I do a lot of that work. I've got a mastermind group that I run, and we're currently doing a vision board. In fact, I'm just going to jump off and I'll show you. Hello, back again. So I do vision boarding in a very different way than the conventional way. Do a lot of energy work around it. And we have a specific process that we work over several weeks. And in my mastermind group, now we're in week 2, where we've been spending time. And you can see here's my big board that I'm working with. You can see all the different aspects on there that I'm working on that will be filled in. And there's the one aspect I'm currently working on at the moment. Because we do one aspect at a time so we don't get confused like a big bowl of spaghetti. And then eventually we just build it and build it and build it. And it takes quite a number of weeks to get a really decent vision board going. So if you want to be getting your vision board going, I'd be suggesting, find a process to do that. Very happy to share that with anybody who wants to do a vision boarding. So, yeah, it's good to give examples. It's, I try to walk my talk. It's pointless telling somebody else to meditate or do a vision board or do exercise if I'm not doing it myself. So I do try as much as possible to do whatever I'm asking my students, clients, and to do, because it's all about finding that resource, all about doing the job. It's all about doing it. Yeah, we can do it online. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Angela, whether you can do it online, whether you can, just jump on and do it online. In my programs, because I run different programs, when I'm working with a group of people, I do the vision boarding as part of the 6-month or 12-month program I'm doing. I've also got an online life mastery program that's running as well. So go to my website, have a look at the resources, have a look at the courses and programs I do. And in all those, the vision boarding is a big part of it. The visioning is a huge part of it. And it's what I do to support people to get through, because I'm all about getting tools and resources. Yep. Vision board with your program. Yeah, absolutely. There's vision boarding with my program. I do vision boarding with all the programs I do, because it's one of the key basics for me of having a visual, because 80% of people use visualization of visuals. We're kinesthetic, visual, auditory, but most people have a visual component in their visioning as well. So it's good to have a vision. It's also good to have it in front of you every day to look at, on the fridge, on the wall, as a screensaver on your phone, or whatever it is. There are many, many different ways to have that vision. I've got mine right on my phone here, just to show you. There's Adrian's phone. See on the screen. There we go. Let me go back. You can see I've got mine right on my phone there. So when I open my phone every single day, I see my vision board, and then I can meditate and focus on my vision board of all those things I want to. Yeah, adrianhanks.com is my website. Go, there's lots of resources, some free resources on there, free videos. Have a good browse through there, and and if there's a connection, say send me a link, book in for your free 30-minute consultation to see where you are right now in your life. And if there's a fit with us, if there's a connection with us, then we can certainly work together. If there's not, that's okay. I can probably refer you onto somebody else and go that way, because I'm not for everybody. But if there's a gel, if there's a connection, we can certainly do some work together. So, any other questions? Any questions on meditation? Any questions on any other aspects of life mastery? Yep, great to save the video. You can watch this anytime. It's up there on my Facebook feed. And yeah, do book in, Patricia. It'd be wonderful to have a conversation with you. So any other questions for anybody on anything like mastery, particularly today around meditation, because that's a little bit of a theme, or any questions on vision boarding? So whatever questions are there for you, please just pop them in the comments and I can answer those questions for you. I love the Q&As. I think it's a great thing. And Sarah Watkins, hasn't she done an amazing job pulling all this together? So absolutely amazing woman. I've known Sarah for quite a number of years now, probably 7 years, I think now, 6 or 7 years I've known Sarah. We've been on quite a journey together, and it's just so wonderful to be part of this spiritual events directory community and all things spiritual that Sarah is pulling together. So it's just great to be here, and feel very blessed to be sharing some of what I know, some of the knowledge, some of the wisdom, some of the insights, and imparting that with others to help them on their journey too, because that's what it's all about. It's about sharing and supporting each other. We all have different wisdoms and things we can share. Very happy to do that. Laziness, chronic fatigue, and fibromyalgia. Okay, so yeah, I say to people, the biggest block to spiritual and personal development work is we are lazy. We are lazy. Yeah, and I don't pull back on that one, because I'm lazy sometimes too. But generally, we're lazy. Getting out to do that 10-minute walk, to do that 10-minute meditation, to choose a healthy meal instead of junk, to look at the habits, to get a coach. We're sometimes lazy about doing those things. We get into chronic fatigue. And I'd like to say something about chronic fatigue, Grace Lee. There's a lot of people work in the medical field and the energy field around chronic fatigue. And for me, because I've studied chronic fatigue, I've had people in my family and friends about chronic fatigue. And from all the study I've done from my psychotherapeutic and counseling work, is chronic fatigue is where the energy body, or the etheric body, if you like to name it, or the life body, gets depleted. And when I work with people in chronic fatigue syndrome, there's usually holes or tears in the etheric body, and that's what needs repairing. Yeah. So although it goes into the physical body and we feel tired physically, around that space, it's the etherical life body that's been damaged. And of course, because it's in continual process of trying to fix itself, that gets tiring for the physical body. So what we have to do is fix the etherical life body, and then we can actually get better in the physical body. That's my knowledge in that field. I've actually worked with it quite a bit. So look at the etheric body, your life body, and how do you repair that? How do you get that fixed up? Where are the tears and the holes and the damage done on the etheric body? And oftentimes that's because it's been bombarded and it's not being treated in the right way. So there's a few things to look at in that space. The etheric body is, so the etheric body is the life body. So we have the physical body, which we can bang and we can touch. And then we have a body around us. This is the etheric body, or the life, or the chi energy. You might have heard of chi energy. And that's the etheric body. And oftentimes that's what people see when they look at people and see an energy field. People say you have an aura. Well, the aura and the etheric body can sometimes get a bit muddled. The aura is usually your bigger energy field, everything contained, including the physical, the emotional field, the etheric field, and even your spirit, is usually what shines from an aura. And when we just look at the etheric body, it's usually, for most people, a few inches off the physical body. And sometimes that's what people see. If you stare at a person, if they're standing against a white wall, for instance, sometimes you'll see a bit of a fuzz around it. If you look at a leaf or a tree or a flower, you'll see a buzz around it. Yeah, you'll see an energy field around it. That's the etheric body that most people see. When people see the bigger aura, that's usually a combination of the physical, the emotional bodies, and all the other bodies together. So it's, sometimes people get confused about them. Yeah, right. Yes, love sometimes. Yes, narcissistic peeps, they can do that. They can actually have damage if we let them in. And I'm coming back to boundaries again. I want to come back to boundaries. How can we have a boundary around ourselves so we don't let that in the first place? What do we need to learn? Do we learn to speak, to say no? My martial arts teacher, for many, many years I did martial arts, and he used to say to me, Adrian, the best form of defense, don't be there. So sometimes we have to take ourselves out of the situation to protect ourselves. So don't be there. Great form of protection. I used to love that one for him. We can learn all this, the karate and how to protect ourselves, but sometimes the best form of defense, just don't be there. I think I really love that. So it was very wise words from my sensei. So what else we got? Aura, no more with me. Tough love kids, me first. Yeah, look, I always say if we put ourselves first, it's not selfish. It's not, because the more we love ourselves, the more we can love others. The more we're connected and give ourselves, the more we can give others. Absolutely true. And we do that then without wiping ourselves out, without getting tired, because we're solid in our own being. If we keep giving and giving to others without that sense of self-love, we're not really giving love. We're probably after something. We're looking for something in return. It's not unconditional. There's a condition of me giving usually. I get what we call a secondary gain from it. I get some pleasure out of it maybe, rather than doing it with a different sense. Yep. So it's about looking at that. So it's about analyzing our whole life. It's about doing a self-reflection on where am I right now my whole life, with my family, with my friends. Yep. Yeah, needlessness. There's lots of good words popping up on the screen here. But it's about bringing ourselves back into our center, being powerful in our center, and being empowered in our center, bringing in that sense of life mastery, being the creator of our own world. And we do that by having resources. We do that by having a different consciousness, by changing the subconscious thinking, by changing habits. Yeah. Loud and clear is the message. I love to be loud, love to be clear, and just bring it home. Let's lock this one into the hard drive. What do I need to do to change my life? If I'm feeling not good about something, firstly, name it. What is it you're not feeling good at? What's not good in your life? Name it. Bring it into the open. And then find a process to make it better for yourself. You know, if you're not feeling good healthily, I mean, there's a lot of unhealthy people. You know, 64% of Australians are obese or overweight. 64%. Higher than the States. Higher than the States. 64% of Australians are obese or overweight. Now, if you're in that space right now and you want to lose weight, what are you going to do about it? What's the exercise routine? What's the eating habits you want to get into? And I'm sharing this because 64% of people probably need to change their life. That's a lot of people. That means if you've got 10 people in the room, 6 people, 7 people, yeah, are going to be overweight or obese. You know, so if we really want to bring ourselves into the 80-20 principle or 90-10 principle, we have to look at our physical health. We have to make the challenge to ourselves to lose that weight so that we can run and walk and swim and climb a mountain, do all those things without exhausting ourselves. It's called self-love. We've got to bring ourselves back to the space. Emotionally, you know, how are you emotionally? Bring yourself back to that space. Mentally, are you using every mental faculty available to you? Are you studying right now? Is there some study in your life to bring that mental capacity in? Very, very powerful things you can do on the journey of life. And it's about getting the resources, getting the tools, getting the support. Yeah. Grace, you should have taped this. This is available. This will be available in the video section of the spiritual events directory. If you go to spiritual events directory, obviously you're on there right now. Go to your left-hand side. You'll see a whole column in there, and one of them will be videos, and all the videos are in there, recorded. Sarah keeps them in there, so you can absolutely go back and watch the recordings anytime you like. So that's the beautiful thing about the spiritual events directory. These recordings are being kept. There's so many resources that Sarah's putting up there for you. So it's good to have recordings sometimes. So you can absolutely do that. So bring yourself into alignment with yourself every single day. Get the resources. Find out what you need to do for yourself. Ask yourself that question. So Adrian's just going to drink some of his smoothie. I've got an organic fruit smoothie. It's pretty thirsty work being here on this show, Adrian's Life Mastery Show. Absolutely love being here. Love sharing with you. Love you sharing with me. And love answering the questions. I think is great. Some people sit in those questions, and sometimes just getting the clarity from a question can shift people big time in their lives. So never be afraid to ask a question, because oftentimes when you ask a question, you're also asking the question for somebody else who's not comfortable in asking the question. I know in a room sometimes, if you've got 30 people in a room and somebody asks a difficult question, you see the sigh of relief from the other 29 people in the room because they didn't have the courage to ask the question. So when you ask a question, you sometimes are not just asking it for yourself, you're asking it for somebody else. And that's a lovely thing to know. Yep, Helen, be here for me first. Absolutely loud and clear. You know, I don't know how many of you have done first aid training, but what you learn in first aid training is if there's danger, you do not respond. Sorry, you just don't. You just have to leave them there until there's no more danger. And it's a really tough call. Really tough call. I remember a friend of mine, I'm going to share a little bit of a story. When I lived in Tasmania, a good friend of mine, he's actually passed now. He passed a few years ago. They're a beautiful, beautiful being. And he used to go out and rescue people in the mountains in Tasmania if they got caught. And he said he went out there one day, he got the call, he went to rescue somebody, and it was deep snow, and the person he had to rescue was on the ravine on the other side of a valley, and he knew that it was too dangerous to go down the snow, through the ravine and up the other side to rescue this person. And he had to radio back and tell the people back in Hobart he couldn't go and do the rescue mission because it was too dangerous. And he said he had to live with that. He had to live with that. Finally, eventually, I think they did get a helicopter into him, but he had to sit there, watch this, this climber sitting there in pain. I think I broke a leg or something on the other side of the ravine. I think he could call to him, but he said, I can't come across to you, it's too dangerous. And it was really tough for him. He had to put himself first. So that's what we have to do. Tough love gig, you know, but it's in the training. You know, he was trained not to do it, and he followed the training. So very, very, very powerful. Angela, about meditation, I meditate nearly every day, even if it's 5 minutes, the spiritual world, I meditate when I'm back. In reality, I feel disconnected. Okay, so that's a really great question. How do you stay connected? How do you stay connected? What are you experiencing in the spiritual world? Will be my first question. And then when you're experiencing that in the spiritual world, when you come back into this 3D reality that we have to live into, is take a moment to draw that essence out of the spiritual to bring it into your being. Okay, it won't be as full, it won't be as rich, it never can be, you know, because that spiritual richness is pretty powerful. But when you have that experience, come back, take a moment and imagine what that experience was, and then bring that into your being and embrace that. Bring it in. You know, if I'm doing my spiritual meditations, I'm in that spiritual realm and I'm connected to, say, a spirit guide, and I want to hold that energy. When I come back into the 3D world and I slide back in, I give myself a moment and I recall what I've experienced, and I bring that recollection into my being. I feel it. I bring it into my soul and I hold it in my soul. Then I reconnect with it in that way. And if it dissipates, I just take a breath again and I remember the experience. Because when we remember an experience, it fills our soul. That's where experiences get remembered. They don't, you know, we remember the logical aspect in our mind, but the experience actually lives in the soul. Yeah, it lives in the soul. Actually, it lives in the etheric memory, in that etheric body. Yeah. Does it come with a lot of practice to recall? Yeah. Look, it does take practice, yeah, to do the recall, but you will remember it. If you give yourself a moment, what was it I experienced? Because although we drop out of the mind, you will remember it from a spiritual connection perspective. You'll feel it in the soul. Because when we go into the spirit world, of course, there's a soul connection. We leave the cognitive mind behind, so we don't remember it cognitively, but we remember the feeling. So you may not be able to name it per se, and from a cognitive perspective, but remember the feeling, because you will have a feeling in the spiritual world to some degree. Yep. So that's what we're going to try and remember. Yep. Yeah, look, we do get busy with life, and it's about using the tool of connection and remembering. That's what I say. Set your phone on the hour, every hour, from say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And when you hear that beep, beep going off on the hour, every hour, ask yourself the question, where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. If you're feeling spiritually disconnected in that moment, that's a great time to be reconnected. If you're feeling disconnected physically, it's a great time to feel connected again physically. So at least 12 times a day, you're going to have moments of connection. And then as you do the exercises more and more and more, you will get more connected and feel stronger. Yep. I hope that really helps you. Yep. So look, we are coming up to the hour. It's amazing how quickly that hour goes, you know, from midday until 1 p.m. Australian time. So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to leave with playing you one little bit of didgeridoo just to finish this life mastery show with you. And I really look forward to connecting you next week. And if you want a 30-minute consultation free with me, PM me or go to my website and book in directly there, and we can certainly have a conversation. So thank you very much for tuning in and joining in. And I'm just going to finish up with about a 15 or 20 seconds of ditch. Thank you very much. See you next week, or chat with you very, very soon if you're booking it. See you. Take care.